Life rewards action, not intelligence. Life rewards action, not intelligence. And I think one of the dangers is smart people, that the smarter you are, the better your excuses. The more accomplished you are in talking yourself out of taking action, in proving to yourself that every action that you could take is too small, too meaningless, and not worth it. And George Leonard, who brought jiu-jitsu from Japan to the US, one of the things he said is, absolutely, you cannot do everything, but you can do one thing, and another, and another. And that's the way you make massive progress in life, by doing one thing, and another, and another. The matter that you show up and try and act week after week, month after month, year after year, with a little bit of intelligence, you start to get better and better and better. You start to become more articulate. And it's so easy to talk yourself out of action, but it's so important to remember that life rewards action, not intelligence, not smarts in your brain, but action into the world.
Every day, you get to make a choice. You can choose to continue with the way things are, with what you've always done, and to complain about how unfair life can be. Or you can choose to let go of what has been holding you back. Focus on what is in your control and seek the path of growth. It is the choice between feeling beaten by events outside of your control, or settling for a life below what you know you're capable of, and saying to yourself that enough is enough, that you will not be this person any longer, that you will say goodbye to the ordinary in order to taste the extraordinary, that from today, right now even, you will commit to being someone better.
Some of us go through pain and it becomes our tombstone. Some of us go through pain and it's a scar. And we live a life of reward. So I'm just gonna say, again, 2025, do me a favor, check you. You're in the ballot box and you're looking at all these options, doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever you see, president, mayor, governor, do me a favor. Before you check any of that, check you. Before you check anything, check you and go look yourself in the mirror and go, yo, I'm my lottery ticket. I'm my ticket out of the neighborhood, or, you know, I'm the broken curse. Like whatever you want to call yourself. But the day I stopped saying my mom, my dad, this person, the police, the day I stopped doing that, the day I said, you.
Embrace the lonely path. If the path that you're on feels lonely, it should assure you that you're headed in the right direction. Because a lot of people simply are not willing to withstand the struggle that comes with the path of success. So if you're feeling lonely right now, that means that you are willing to do the things that nobody else does. You know, everybody preaches that they have this big dream or aspiration or a grand vision for their future, but nobody's willing to bear the struggle that comes with it. But you are. Which tells you where you're headed, my friend. You are headed straight for everything that you've ever wanted. This is how it's supposed to feel. You knew it was going to be difficult. So let's not act surprised now. Everything is going just as expected. So what do we do now?
Success is the only revenge. As you expand, they shrink into irrelevance. As you get louder, no one can hear them. You don't beat them, you cast a shadow so big, no one can see them to begin with. When people copy, they copy the wrong stuff because they don't know why it worked to begin with. And when it breaks, they don't know how to fix it because they didn't build it. So don't sweat it, copycats will always be behind.
I'd rather go too far than not far enough. The only reward that you get from taking it easy is the fact that in the moment, it's easier. But if you want results, and then you basically just catch yourself slacking off and don't do anything about it, then it kind of sounds like you don't really want those results.
If I've learned anything from life, it's that sometimes the darkest times can bring us to the most brightest places. I've learned that the toughest lessons can teach us the most important lessons, that the most painful struggles can grant us the most necessary growth. Said in times like these, it helps to recall there have always been times like these. The last one read, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection.
It is not everyone's job to make sure that you feel good. It is not everyone's job to solve your problems. It's not everyone's job to make sure you're happy. That's on you. Only you. Understand that you are where you're at because of the decisions you made and the actions you took. And if you manage to convince yourself that it's everyone else's fault that you're miserable, not only is your entire life a lie, but you will be stuck in that misery forever. If you really want to free yourself from mental slavery, if you really want to escape the prison cell, if you really want to make your life better, blame yourself. Because in order to fix your own life, you have to believe that you're the one that f***ed it up in the first place. And if you possess the power to screw up your entire life, you also possess the power to fix it.
The longest journey you will make are the inches from your head to your heart. Never an easy journey, but the most important you will make is that you find the courage to build a life around what matters most to you. There are pivotal moments in our lives that have the power to push us into an entirely new and exciting story from which there is no return. What if that moment for you is today?
So you're at rock bottom. Good. You feel like you've completely lost control, like the world is caving in on you and there's not a thing you can do about it. Like no matter what you try to do to remedy this dreadful state of existence, it only gets darker. Good. Accept it. And stop running. There is a mountain whose peak is so tall it is hidden behind the clouds. I want you to look up at it. Embrace the shadow that it has casted on you all this time. Understand that this mountain is no foreign entity. It is you. You are the mountain. And today, you stop cowering from your own potential.
And there's a difference between feeling sad and being sad, feeling angry and being angry. You can feel angry all you want. You can feel sad all you want, but don't do sad shit. Don't do angry shit. And I think that's what strength is. You can cry, you can be sad, you can do all those things, but doing what you're supposed to do, despite that, that's mental toughness. I'm gonna do what is right, even though I feel this way. If you can master that, you can master f***ing anything.
You carry a heaviness. I'm stuck. By now, I really thought I would have left my mark, found my purpose. Instead, I've wasted so much time.
Wasted? No. Time has been your silent sculptor, shaping you in ways you cannot yet see.
It's funny, man. A lot of you young guys think it's a choice to be great. Bro, it ain't no choice. It's an obligation. You don't only owe this to yourself, bro. You owe it to all the people that believe in you, that have sacrificed for your success. This ain't no choice, bro. The day you were born, you signed a contract. You right by others, you right by yourself, you right by God, and watch the joy that fills your heart. I believe in you, bro. And so do all these other people. It's time for you to believe in you. You owe it to yourself, big dog. Owe it to yourself.
Snow's coming down a bit this morning. Weather says feels like 14. The ears hurt, the hands burn. I do 3 minutes in the ice bath before every morning run, and I don't want to be out here. The thing is though, if I allow the fluctuation of my environment to dictate the likelihood of me showing up, my life would be up to circumstance, and that is a pitiful existence. All anyone really wants is a little bit of certainty, but almost nobody is willing to offer that to themselves. This world is going to do everything to keep you from showing up, but find a way every single time, and life will be very different.
I tell people, you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. You look at somebody like Steph Curry, and you see this guy who, to shoot the ball from almost half court, trumping on the side of his thing, and he doesn't even look. He turns around and just waves because he knows it's in already, and there's swish, and the crowd goes crazy. And people look at that and go, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's the greatest three-point shooter in history. There's no one like him. But what they don't pay attention to is that isn't like a little gift, right? He shoots 500 shots every single day, never less than that, 7 days a week, for more than 15 years. His 15-year professional career. He's been doing it since before he was in college. His dad really trained him. So think of that, 3,500 shots a week, 168,000 shots in a year, 2.52 million shots in his 15-year NBA career, so he can make 3,600 shots. Not even 0.1%.
What I have discovered is this. A strategy is like a freeway. It allows us to get to where we want to go as quickly as possible. So many times on the freeway, we take exits. And every time I take an exit, I lose my way. Every time I take an exit, I now am further away from my dream than what I probably was when I started. You have to understand that it's the pathway, it's the step-by-step process that allows us to get to the dream. So many times we look at the top of the mountain and forget the fact that it's the first step. Your dream requires thousands of steps in the right direction.
You have to train yourself to become someone who is resilient, who has fortitude, who has grit, who could persevere, who could pay attention to their boss voice, not their bitch voice, and can execute against the things that they know are going to move them where they want to go, even when they don't feel like it. And if you can do that, it will become quote unquote easier. You will perceive it to be easier. It will not be easier, you will be stronger.
This is your one shot at life. It really is. And however you spend your time is up to you. Nobody is going to tell you what to do. So if there is something that you have always wanted to do, but you're not doing it because you're afraid of failing, then this is your chance to actually just do it anyways, to face that fear head on. Because if you do that, then you can work towards something in this one life that you have and actually maybe get there. You know, you might not get there, but at least you tried. And that's the thing, right? We have the ability to try. We have the ability to actually try and possibly succeed. But the thing is, if you really give it your all and you really try your best, 9 times out of 10, you're going to succeed because you never gave up. You worked on it every single day. You really gave yourself the ability and the chance to actually achieve that dream of yours. And because you did achieve it all. You know, imagine a life where you actually achieved it all. Instead of scrolling on social media all day, imagine a life where you're working on your dreams every day and one day you actually get there. Like, imagine how amazing that would feel, and like take that feeling and use that as that motivation, that drive to push you forward. And every day is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but the more you work on it, the more consistent you are working towards that dream, you're going to get there eventually. It's going to take time, yes, but you're going to get there eventually because you never gave up.
Greatness isn't built on the days you feel good. It's not built on motivation, on bursts of inspiration, or on fleeting moments of clarity. Greatness is built in the quiet, unremarkable moments. The ones where no one's watching, where no one's clapping, where no one even knows you're putting in the work. The truth is, anyone can show up when they feel like it. When the energy is there, when the stars align, when the path feels easy, showing up doesn't take much. But what separates those who achieve extraordinary things from those who don't is the ability to show up when it's hard, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're discouraged, when you'd rather do anything else than take that next step. That's when greatness is built. Not in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when it's not. Motivation is a myth. It's unreliable. It comes and goes. One day, you wake up ready to take on the world, and the next, you can't even get out of bed. If you wait for motivation to show up before you do, you'll spend your entire life waiting. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're uninspired, if you're overwhelmed. Discipline shows up anyway. Discipline says, I'm here to do the work, no matter what. And when you commit to showing up, even when you don't feel like it, something incredible happens. You build momentum. You prove to yourself over and over again that you can keep going, even when it's hard. And that momentum, that's where transformation happens.
Consistency is the secret to greatness. It's not about the big dramatic moments. It's about the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. Think about it. A single workout won't change your body, but showing up at the gym consistently will. Writing one page won't make you an author, but writing every day will. Taking one step forward won't get you to the finish line, but taking a step every day will. Consistency compounds. It's the foundation on which everything else is built. And the people who achieve extraordinary things, they're not the ones who work hard when they feel like it. They're the ones who work hard every day, regardless of how they feel. The first step to building discipline is to make showing up non-negotiable. It's not about whether you feel like it. It's not about whether the conditions are perfect. It's about committing to the process, no matter what. Set a standard for yourself. Maybe it's writing 500 words a day. Maybe it's going to the gym 3 times a week. Maybe it's spending 10 minutes every morning meditating. Whatever it is, make the commitment and then honor it. When you make showing up a non-negotiable part of your life, you take the decision-making out of the equation. It's no longer about whether you want to. It's about the fact that you said you would.
One of the biggest mistakes people make is focusing too much on the outcome. When the results don't come as quickly as they'd like, they lose motivation and give up. The key to consistency is to fall in love with the process, not the result. Show up because it's who you are, not because of what you hope to achieve. Show up because you value growth, because you value commitment, because you value keeping the promises you make to yourself. The results will come, but they're a byproduct of the process, not the other way around. Discipline doesn't mean doing everything all at once. It doesn't mean overhauling your entire life overnight. It means starting where you are with what you have and taking the smallest step forward. If you're struggling to show up, shrink the task. Can't write a chapter? Write a sentence. Can't do an hour-long workout? Do 10 minutes. Can't meditate for 15 minutes? Try 5. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And every small step you take is a step closer to where you want to be. Discipline thrives on structure. When you have a routine, showing up becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to argue with yourself. You just do it. Set a specific time and place for the things that matter to you. Make them a part of your day, like brushing your teeth or eating lunch. The more consistent you are, the more ingrained the habit becomes.
Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. It's what separates the people who talk about what they want from the people who actually make it happen. And it's something you can cultivate, one small step at a time. So, make the commitment to show up, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because the act of showing up, day after day, step after step, that's what builds greatness. That's what changes lives. And when you look back on your journey, you won't remember the days you felt like giving up. You'll remember the days you showed up anyway. That's where the magic happens. That's where greatness is built. So, show up and keep showing up, no matter what.
Chaos. It's a word we use when life feels out of control, when nothing makes sense, and you're standing in the middle of it all. wondering which way to turn. Chaos can be overwhelming. It can feel like the ground beneath your feet has disappeared, like the world is spinning too fast, like no matter how hard you try, you can't catch your breath. Maybe you're in that place right now. Maybe your plans fell apart. Maybe you've lost something, or someone, you thought you couldn't live without. Maybe life didn't just throw you a curveball, it hit you with a storm. And in the middle of that storm, it's easy to feel lost, to feel like there's no purpose, no reason, no sense to any of it. But here's the thing about chaos. It's not the end of your story. Chaos is uncomfortable, yes. It's messy, painful, unpredictable, but it's also fertile ground. Because when life strips away everything you thought you knew, when it forces you to let go of the plans you clung to so tightly, it creates space. Space to rebuild. Space to grow. Space to find meaning in places you never would have looked before.
The first step to finding meaning in chaos is to stop fighting it. Stop trying to force it into order. Stop clinging to what was. Stop resisting the reality of what is. Chaos is part of life. It always has been, and it always will be. No matter how carefully you plan, no matter how hard you work, life will throw things at you that you didn't see coming. And that's not a failure. That's being human. When you accept the chaos, you stop wasting energy on trying to control the uncontrollable. You free yourself to focus on what matters, how you respond, what you learn, and who you become in the process.
Chaos doesn't just happen randomly. It's a teacher, if you're willing to learn. Every setback, every disappointment, every challenge holds a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's showing you what you truly value. Maybe it's pushing you to grow in ways you wouldn't have chosen on your own. Ask yourself, what is this chaos trying to teach me? What can I learn from this experience? The answers won't always come right away. But when you start looking for the lessons, you'll begin to see that even in the messiest, most painful moments, there's something to be gained. Here's the truth. Chaos doesn't come with meaning built in. It's not going to hand you a neatly wrapped lesson or a clear sense of purpose. Meaning isn't something you find, it's something you create. In the middle of the storm, you get to decide what this moment will mean to you. You get to decide whether it will break you or build you. Whether it will be the chapter where you gave up or the chapter where you rose. Maybe the chaos in your life right now is an opportunity to let go of something that wasn't serving you. Maybe it's a chance to rediscover who you are without the labels, the expectations, the plans you thought you needed. Maybe it's the push you needed to step into a new chapter, even if you're scared of what comes next. The meaning isn't out there waiting for you. It's inside you, waiting to be created. In times of chaos, it's easy to feel powerless, like life is happening to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But even in the most uncertain times, there are things you can control. You can control your attitude, your effort, your choices. You can control how you show up, even when the world feels like it's falling apart.
Trust that the chaos in your life right now is part of a bigger picture, one that you can't fully see yet, but one that's being painted nonetheless. Trust that the struggles you're facing now are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more resilient. Chaos thrives in the unknown, and the unknown is scary because it's unpredictable. But it's also full of possibility. When life doesn't go according to plan, it creates room for something new, something you might not have chosen, but something that could turn out to be exactly what you needed. Let go of the need to have all the answers, Embrace the uncertainty. And remember that some of the best things in life come from the moments when everything seemed to fall apart.
Chaos isn't comfortable, but it's where transformation begins. It's where old patterns are broken, where new possibilities emerge, where you discover what you're truly capable of. So if you're in the middle of chaos right now, don't give up. Don't let it break you. Look for the lessons, create your own meaning, and trust that this moment, as hard as it is part of something bigger. You are stronger than the chaos. You are bigger than the storm. And when the dust settles, you'll see that this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. Let the chaos shape you, not define you. Let it teach you, not defeat you. And let it remind you that even in the messiest moments, there is still purpose to be found. The storm may rage, but so do you.
It takes courage to bloom. So I want you to know that in this season of uncomfortable growth, that you are way braver than you think.
Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are.
Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice.
Everybody has the desire to do something, but they don't have they don't know how to really complete the process of dedicating themselves and having the discipline to do it. If you got the desire, you got to match that desire with your dedication, and you got to match it with your discipline.
No idea how limitless you are when you don't care what other people think or say about you. It is fear that drives that. It is. And most of your mates that you hang around with are just as afraid because you pick somebody like yourself to hang around with.
If you feel like you lost your way, I would say congratulations. If you're lost, that only means one thing. You're about to be found. And sometimes you need to lose your way in order to find a better way. Sometimes you need to lose certain things to gain better things. Sometimes certain doors have to close that you want to keep open so a better door can come into your life.
There are too many people who have doubted you that you've given credit to. You've allowed them to have a name for being able to be negative in your life. It's time for you to give an eviction notice. There is no vacancy in your life and in your heart and mind available if you're going to be great. It's time for you to say, I've given a one-day notice that those who told me I couldn't be great, I gotta release them. Those who said that you would never make it, release them. It's time to trade in those places and those people that tried to stop you and adopt a philosophy that says, watch me.
Sometimes the reason that you're suffering is because you just won't let go of the thing that's biting you. And so one of the rules is, if people are impeding your development, you sacrifice your relationship with them, right? It's a very, very rough rule.
Rather than trying to impress people who don't give a shit about you, just start impressing the next 2.0 version of yourself. Like, what would the next highest, most stoic version of you be impressed by today? Would it be impressed by the fact that you're going to bed earlier? That you're waking up and getting your workout in? That you're eating right? What would the future self be impressed by? Make a list of 3 to 5 things and then start doing those things. Like, those are the things I love, impressing the future me versus trying to impress the people around me.
I think something that keeps people so stagnant is the fear of stepping into the unknown. You know, staying where we are is painful and we don't like it, but we allow the fear of stepping into the unknown to keep us in situations that we don't even like because we're scared to take that leap. We're scared to really, put ourselves out there and lean into that uncertainty, but you got to understand that uncertainty is a gift. It is a gift.
It's quite possible that things could turn out better than you could have ever imagined. Sometimes scenarios play out in our lives and things don't work out the way that we wanted them to. And the reason for that is because the universe knows that you deserve way better. So, when a door closes in your life that you really wanted to enter, first, grieve it, and then get really excited because the next door will be the one that was made for you.
And I think as a human, sometimes you feel like you always gotta wait for the right time, what makes sense to you to actually start executing, to actually stop making excuses, to doing the things that you always really wanted to do. And I'm starting to find myself now being like, nah, there is no right time to do anything. You just gotta start doing.
It's time for them to see that everything that's within you, every dream that God gave you, can become a reality. But in order to get there, you gotta put a seed in the ground of belief. You gotta be able to water it with daily affirmations. You gotta be able to step on it, to pack it down, to make sure that there is nothing to snuff out, and then allow the sun to rain down on it. I mean, every single day you allow light in by separating yourself from negative people. And then while they're sitting there watching you, day after day, you begin to grow. And in the beginning stages of you going after your greatness, it'll be difficult for some people to tell the difference between a weed and that which took seed. But it won't take long, because that which has a seed will one day show up with fruit. See, fruit will remain out of the work that you do today. People whose lives will be changed. People will see what you are. There is something on you that is calling us to acknowledge you. And I'm here to validate and say, you are great just the way you are.
If you have a goal, you have a responsibility to rise to the level required to achieve it. A responsibility to respect yourself enough to put in the work. It won't be easy, but if it was, everyone would do it. There wouldn't be so many early mornings, failures, or sacrifices. Everything that comes with the struggle is what turns you into the person who's capable of achieving the things that you want. So stop shying away from the challenge. It's your responsibility to face it.
Expecting it to be easy is what makes it much harder than it ever is. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. It won't get harder. Like, this is the hardest part. And so if you can just make it through this, everything else is downhill.
We're all participating in this thing called life, all of us. Life has ebb and flows, mountaintops, it's got valleys, it's got thunderstorms in it, earthquakes. This life, stop expecting it to go smooth, because it ain't finna go smooth. The road to success is always under construction. This life ain't set up to be smooth.
I get it. You don't feel like it. You don't know if it's worth it. And you know that if you do it today, you still have to do it tomorrow. And you still have to do it every day after that. It's overwhelming, I know. But every day that you do it, you get a little bit closer to a place that you actually want to be. You get closer to the person you actually want to be.
The fact that it is painful is the reason that it's working. Everybody else that has to try and step out into this new life faces this same thing too. Every single person does. That's why most people don't do it. This is what hard feels like, and this is why most people don't win. So continuing to push through and almost seeing that level of discomfort as a signal, it's like a way marker that's been planted in the ground. Because if it was all just super easy, well, how are you going to get anything different to what everybody else has got if you do the same thing that everybody else does?
Do you know what it takes to be a champion? Working hard every single day without the promise that your hard work will actually pay off. with the only guarantee being sweat and exhaustion. Here's something more: that goal you're chasing after doesn't favor you over anyone else. That's why you need to pay attention to the process rather than the product. Who is this champion that's being built?
That it's possible. If you tell yourself enough times that it's possible, it can be possible. But imagine every single day, instead of saying, oh, my day sucks, instead of getting up and being like, oh, life is terrible. Imagine your entire mindset was just like, it's possible to get to that next level. It's possible to be great. It's possible to be more healthy. In your entire perspective on life, your worldview is positive. Even if you had to lie yourself into believing that.
You can be fearful, you can't be afraid. The coward and the hero feel the same exact emotion when confronted with a situation. It's just, how do you act in response to the fear? The coward is like, fuck this, run. The hero is like, okay, I see you, I know you're there, here's how I'm gonna handle this.
You know, the fact that life is short and can be brutal, can terrify you into hiding and avoiding, but it can also, you can flip that on its head and understand that since you're all in anyways, you might as well take the risks that are adventurous.
When you were born, you are a phenomenon, you are unique. Your DNA has never occurred in the history of the universe, going back billions of years. It will never occur in the future. Your life experience with your parents and everything that you experience in your early years going on up is unique, it's yours. You're one of a kind, right? So that is your source of power. To waste that is just the worst thing you can do in your life. And what the power is finding that uniqueness. What makes you you? And how you can mine that, and how you can go deep into it and use that.
So many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is better than them. And they were born, you know, not with the greatest tools. You don't need shit. You need the ability to grind your ass into a fine fucking powder. And when you're in that fine powder, find a way to build that motherfucker back up repeatedly. And it's possible.
If you hide and you don't let what's inside of you out, and you don't bring into the world what you could bring, and you become cynical and bitter, you will start doing very dark things. Not only will you not add to the world what you could add, but you'll start being jealous of people who are competent and doing well and work to destroy them. That's the pathway to hell.
Success is the ability to go from failure to failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. But that's going to be up to you, because there's not going to be anybody there to encourage you, to coach you, to push you on. You have to do it yourself.
People don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do it. Like the passion that they first had when they said, man, I'm with you. I'm gonna give you everything I got, whether that be sports, whether that be business, whether that be a family. I just want people to never allow life to make them forget why they do what they do. Right? To never allow life to rob you of your passion. To never allow life to rob you of your joy, your peace, your happiness.
I say chase your dreams, man. Do that thing, man, that keeps you up at night. That thing that bothers you, man, that makes you trip. You can't quit thinking about it. You always, that thing, man, that you wake up in the middle of the night, you got a new idea. That's what you got to chase.
Who is this champion with nothing more than a burning desire in their heart to prove to no one other than themselves, I have what it takes? And if you're sitting there wondering, am I that champion? Let me put it this way. You decided to listen to motivational audios rather than music. You decided to listen to motivational audios rather than mindless background noise. Whether you're in the gym, on the bus, just waking up, or lying on your bed, getting your thoughts together, you made the choice to pick something that would keep you in the fight. These are the receipts you need to remember, because they will remind you of who you truly are, a champion.
get to where you want in life, just not in the way you imagined. And that's because the path that's paved is far different to the path we pave.
Just don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do, or can or cannot achieve. Just don't allow it. Just do not allow it. Be whatever you want to be.
Stop tying your value and worth to external achievements. How much money you make, the position at your company, what kind of car you drive. Your value must be linked to something greater than material things that can disappear overnight. Greater than what the world defines as success. Instead of looking out here for validation about your value, look internally. Look at your heart. Look at your intentions. Look how far you've come. Get your idea of your value and worth from that. It will free you in so many ways. Stop looking out here for your worth and value. Look inside and look up.
We believe that the biggest obstacle we have to overcome is out there, and many times the call is coming from inside of our own house. I think that the worst enemy that many people have is the voice that's inside of their own head. Now, this voice has probably maybe come from the outside world, but we've now internalized it. You know, we have become our own worst enemy in some regards.
You have to stay busy. You have to find yourself now. You have to find out who you are. And it's gonna take effort, man. I hate to tell you that because I know it's probably gonna be hard sometimes, but you can do it.
How I keep positive, I would say, is every time it gets tough, and when I feel like I don't want to do it, there is someone out there in this world, laying on a hospital bed, begging for a second chance at life. I don't think I have any excuse to not go hard.
It's easy to give up. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. All right, man, I'm done. But what's hard is going, yo, yesterday I got nothing from working as hard as I could. Nothing happened from that. I'm gonna do the same thing again today, but I'm gonna try to go harder. That's the hardest thing in the world. And give 100% and be in the same position that you were each day, but mentally know that you're trying and trying and trying. That's a real grind.
Your current situation is not your final destination. There's more to your life. And I know right now it's hard for you to believe that, but I need you to believe it. Like everything you're currently facing is building you for something greater. You're more than your struggles, you're more than your pain. I know you feel like nobody understands you, nobody gets you. I know you feel alone and isolated. I want you to flood your life with appreciation. Even for the little things, the small things, for breath in your body, for your heartbeat. Because appreciation is the first step to elevating your life. So I want to tell you, I'm proud of you for not giving up when it's so easy to.
Your work ethic reflects your gratitude, which ultimately leads to your results. The grateful person shows up early. The grateful person gives full effort. The grateful person asks several questions. Look around you, and you can tell those who are grateful by their work ethic. Those who are great in any profession understand it starts with the understanding that you are capable of going from nothing to everything.
But here's the thing, that if you have a very clear vision and you're absolutely convinced and have the faith in your vision, then all the work that you need to do becomes easier because there's a purpose for it.
Haven't you imagined a better life? Okay, who you think he showed it to? He showed it to you. Why you think he showed it to you? Because he want to give it to you. But if you don't work, if you don't ask him for it, he cannot give it to you because he created us with the power of choice.
It's not okay for you to be a weak loser. It's not okay. And the reason it's not okay is because you could be way more than that. And it's a crime, an ethical crime, for you to allow all that necessary potential to go to waste. It hurts you, it hurts your family, it hurts the world. Really, really, it does.
There are two types of pain, the pain of action and the pain of inaction. The pain of action is blunt, in your face, and forces you to grow. For every hour we suffer through sharpening our skills, being proactive, and restoring order, we don't reduce the amount of pain we face, but rather we take it on the chin. We sign up for it up front. And because of this voluntary acceptance, day after day, we gain the strength to shoulder it. By embracing pain instead of running from it, we are simultaneously transformed by it. We become someone we are proud of, someone that others can depend upon, which in turn gives meaning to the pain. And it's this feeling of growth and progress that helps us feel useful to ourselves, useful to others, which gives the suffering a purpose.
I don't think anyone who suffered a tragedy that has gotten through it in some way will tell you, I needed to find deeper meaning in my life. Once something has happened that is a tragic event, a loss, a death, or anything that is a setback, some people numb themselves. But that doesn't mean the pain's not there. It just means you're not feeling it. Tragedy is just too strong, too powerful for the mind to fathom, let's be honest. The mind cannot deal with it. So you have to go deeper than the mind. And the place that's deeper than the mind is love, faith, hope, meaning, and purpose. And that's what you hold on to for your dear life. And you just forge ahead. And some days are going to be harder and some will be easier. Sometimes it's very painful. And if you can move from one day to the next, you get stronger, whether you know it or not. And ultimately what will emerge is a new person, a person that you'll see that you went through the fire and you become a more powerful person in the process.
You will fail. I know no one wants to hear that, but you will. In fact, you should want to fail. You should seek out every opportunity to try to fail. And after you fall, you have a choice that you make right there, right that moment, that will determine the rest of your life. You can either define your life by the fact that you have fallen. You can define it by the fact that you have failed. Or you can look at it as, I'm one step closer to figuring this thing out.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else, your enemy or your friend, you are laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself.
We all have moments when it seems the world is crashing down around us, when we feel defeated and broken. But it's in those moments when we have the greatest opportunity. When you've been defeated, when you've been driven to your knees, you have two choices. You can stay on your knees, or you can rise up and fight on.
There is no one who becomes great without failure. It comes with it. What makes you great is that you failed enough times that you learn to perfect the right things. You build the strength out of your weaknesses. You fail your way forward. Every time you fail, you get a bit of experience. That experience becomes knowledge and know-how that you can change the lives of others because of how many times you fail. The thing that you become ashamed of can be the thing that gives you a name that lasts beyond your generation.
Let's talk about change. Let's talk about that comeback that you've been aching for. Let's talk about walking that path and doing things you've never done before, seeing things you've never seen before. Let's talk about walking that path to becoming something you've never been before. And it doesn't matter what you've been, or who you've been, or what you've experienced. Those things only matter in the fact that they've brought you right here, right now, to this point where you're ready. Are you willing to do what it takes?
Adversity is a gift. Sometimes you can't see the light until you're in the dark. Sometimes you gotta face a setback to get set up for success. Sometimes you gotta get humble to stay humble. Sometimes you gotta get embarrassed so it doesn't happen again. You might not agree with all these lessons that have to get taught, but they gotta get taught somehow. Every time you bounce back from something unfortunate, you set yourself up to be fortunate one day. You don't know why you're going through adversity in the moment, only so you can use it for strength later. So be thankful that you're going through adversity, because the biggest blessings come wrapped in difficulty.
You see, when you bury the things that hold you back, you can create a clean patch of land, a canvas ready to be painted with your dreams and aspirations. It's an opportunity to cultivate. But here's the thing. If you keep looking at things the same way everyone else does, or if you cling to the same beliefs and limitations you've always had, nothing will ever change. You need to develop eyes to see what needs to change, ears to hear the truths and silence the doubt, hands willing to do the dirty work, and a heart that carries you through the ups and the downs, and some feet that are ready to move in the right direction.
Friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you.
Make no mistake, there's a big difference between wanting something and being willing to do what it takes to get it. There will always come a day where you are too tired, too sick, something unexpected happens, the car doesn't work, a friend shows up, there's not enough time, not enough motivation. When you truly make the decision that you are willing to do what it takes, you change.
You see, the times where you make mistakes is when you're actually perfect. Because you get the opportunity to be authentic and to let people know that even though I failed, I didn't quit. Even though I fell down, I got up again. And every time you get up, people see resiliency. They see the effort, they see the passion, they see your purpose, and then they look to you and say, show me how I can do it, because you're the one that made me believe in me, because you showed me the way.
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind. They're going to always feel like they're not doing good enough. They're all going to always feel like you're losing. 90% of the time, you're going to feel like you're getting your balls kicked in. 8% of the time, you're going to be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. And those moments come and go, and then you're back in the 90%. And that's the reality of a winner's life. People don't understand that. They think it's all about cruising around in a cool car, having a free and happy and easy and go-lucky life. And that's not reality, because true winners are built for the fucking fight. They're built for the battle.
You can fail, but you can never give up. There's too many people relying on you. There's too many people that need you. And the moment you take your life off mute, you give volume to the lives and mouths and hearts of people that will depend upon you. You don't have a right to hide. You gotta shine.
Let's eliminate all outcomes, all results, and not let anything be predicated upon them. Let's lock into the process, the dedication, the commitment, the daily work, and why do you want what you want, and what are you doing it for?
A lot of you aren't proud of who you are. You don't like the person you created. Do what I did. Start from scratch. Create somebody that's proud of.
I would say that not only do you want to stop being scared and do that thing that you don't know if you can do or not, but you know what you got to do is you got to start taking the steps now. Because when you're 18 years old, your life seems like it's gonna last forever. And I will tell you right now, it's not gonna last forever. And those years go by like a summer's day. And the next thing you know, you look up and you're 36 years old, or you're 44 years old. And that time's gone. You cannot get it back. You cannot get time back.
Nothing is gonna change if you don't make this change. So how would your life be different if you start choosing the right things? How would your life grow if you let go of the wrong things in your life? So I want to challenge you right now. How would today be different for you? Because let's be real. A lot of us every single day, we choose the wrong things. We choose the wrong people. We choose people's opinions instead of our peace.
Life ain't fair to nobody. You just gotta fight through, man. You gotta bite back sometime.
So those dreams that you have, those goals that you have, don't put them off another second. Not 1 second. Get on them and go out and make them happen starting right now.
We have to always remember, our purpose will always be there, but the purpose is myself. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. On those bad days, when you think that you're alone, you just might be. Because you know why? No one else wants to fucking do it. So you be the motherfucker that always gets it done. Stay hard.
I just want to ask you this question. How would your life be different right now, today in this moment, if you start giving yourself some of those same things that you give everybody else? If you start giving yourself those same compliments that you give everybody else? If you start giving yourself that same grace that you always give everybody else? What if you decide to redirect your energy towards you for once?
Your fuel can never be the pain of what happened in your past, because if you focus on the pain, when the pain is alleviated, so are all your greatness. You see, your greatness is not based upon the fact that you don't want to hurt again. Your greatness comes out of the fact that you're finally getting to live. You had to go through that in order to make you. And now that you are a made man, a made woman, you have credibility and validity, and you don't need anyone to authenticate you because you are already phenomenal.
So when I created this mantra for myself that average is the enemy, that success is my responsibility, and that change can take place in an instant when we, I, you and me decide to flip the switch, I'm constantly reminding myself every single morning that I have control. Like the opposition wants us to stay average. Our neighbors want us to stay average. Hell, your family wants you to stay average, because when you change, your family fears that change. They don't like the 2.0 version of you. They don't like the evolved version of you. They don't like the version of you that all of a sudden is having higher standards in life and setting higher expectations. They are unfamiliar with that person, and that is scary to them. And so, yes, average is the enemy. And you must fight the momentum of average to break through to extraordinary.
The emptiness in your life isn't because you don't have enough rights. You have all the rights there are. You can get whatever you want whenever you want it. And if that's still not working, well, what are you missing? Well, maybe you're missing the opposite of that. A little bit of restraint, a little bit of sacrifice, some responsibility.
When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, it's just what we do. It's what we do now.
When you're complaining, you know what you're doing? You're focusing on everything that's wrong in your life. What you focus on, you move towards.
When you gonna start realizing that, embodying that? When you gonna realize that you are the hero that you've been searching for? It ain't me, it ain't them, it ain't that, it is you. The hero that you're searching for in your story, you have already found. You see that person in the mirror every single day. But when you start choosing joy, when you start choosing peace, when you start choosing you, when you start choosing your worth, you start to understand that you are that hero. And now is the moment right now for you to walk into that. And I need you to walk into that because people that you don't even know need you to walk into that. They need you. But you gotta start choosing your worth.
People who go after this stuff, what makes it worth it? It's got to be your passion. You got to love it. It's got to be what you are supposed to do.
There's so many times in life you don't want to be doing what the you're doing. You can't just quit. Remember this. This isn't a hobby. This isn't a joke. It's a lifestyle. So what you say to yourself is important. There's no coach. There's no trainer to keep you going. It's only you.
Every poor decision you've made in your life, there was more emotion that was involved in it than there was mind.
Quit using the word luck, quit believing in luck, and start believing in work. Start believing in results that come from your actions.
We come into this world alone. We die alone. What we do between those times is success or failure.